Okay, we're going to sketch the graph of y equals tangent 4x. And so let's go ahead and get a good color here. Let's write down some things that we know about this. Well, the period is going to equal pi divided by the coefficient of x, which is 4. So the period of tangent y equals tangent x is pi. And so we take that period of tangent x and divide by the coefficient of x, which is 4. So that's the period. And you could do a half period. Now, why would I do a half period? Because the distance between the x-intercept and a vertical asymptote is the half of the period. So, or I don't know, distance might not be the right. Yeah, I suppose distance is okay. So this is going to be 1/2 of pi over 4, which is pi over 8. There's no shifts right or left. So that actually makes it not as difficult as it could be. I don't want to say anything's easy. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is make a little mini sketch of the tangent graph, if I can just do a little tiny one without getting carried away. So here I go. This is a periodic function, and it's really, when I stop, just sort of has to do with how much space I have here. So I gave myself sort of a lot of space, so I just started doing a lot here. So, why not? Why not just keep going? If I have the space, of course I might get a little tired of labeling. Okay, it just keeps going on and on and on. So, all right, here we have, this is pi over 2 and negative pi over 2, and then of course 0's in the middle. Now, this is, okay, by the way, this is, I don't know if I made that clear. This is y equals tan x. Okay, and then I'm actually maybe spending too much time on this, but anyway, the period for tan x is pi, and the half period is pi over 2. So now I start at 0 and I have pi over 2, then, so 1/2 pi, then 2/2 pi, which is pi. Then 3/2 pi, then 4/2 pi, and then, okay, hold on. 1/2, 2/2, 3/2, and then 4/2, which is 2 pi. I sort of overdid it. I did too much here, but anyway. Okay. This is going to be 4/2, 5/2 pi, 6/2 pi. I probably would say that this is just not really neat enough to, and partly because I'm just writing so small, but if I just zoom in, then it becomes better. Yeah, that's the trick, I guess. Okay, and then over here, of course I don't want to write 3/2 pi, 6/2 pi. I want to write 7/2 pi. I want to write 3 pi. Okay, having difficulties writing and talking at the same time. Okay, so there is a disadvantage of writing so much, is that I end up having to label way too much. So didn't really need to do that. I just got carried away. Okay, so anyway, this guy right here is just going to, this is the same graph. The graph of y equals tan 4x is compressed horizontally. All right, so I was going to say by 1/4 or by 4. Anyway, it's the same graph, and this time I'm just not going to be quite so ambitious. So you can just, first of all, it's way neater. I did too much, and it was sort of messy. Okay, so those aren't going to be to scale, but anyway, here I go. I'm really just going to draw the same graph. Maybe I will make it like this. I'm going to draw the same graph, and I'm just going to label it differently because all it's doing is compressing it. So, it has a bit to do with just the labeling. And so here I go, pick a nice color, maybe orange. Except I didn't do that right. Nice color, orange, okay. This should do it this time. That's not really orange. It's sort of like a brownish color, like a burnt orange. Oh, I see what I'm doing wrong. I'm doing I was doing the highlighter, not the pen. Okay. So we could just keep going and do more of these, but I decided I don't want to keep doing too many. Okay, so got that. Now, all right, so we still have 0. And what I'm have here is this so-called my thing, I guess, is that maybe someone else calls it this, half of the period. So if I start at 0 and go half the period, I get pi over 8. I mean, that was an easy addition, 0 plus pi over 8. Then I'm going to get 2 8s, and then 3 8s. Going the opposite way, negative pi over 8, negative 2 8 pi, negative 3 8 pi. Now, of course, especially math or whatever person, it just bugs me to have it not reduced. So I'm going to reduce that fraction for those, but I'm keeping it in terms of 8 at first because that's easy to count. 0 8s, then 1 8, then 2 8s, and 3 8s. And the idea is, etc. It just goes on and on and on. Okay, so the way I drew it sort of almost doesn't show that it's going on and on. So I made that maybe too long. So I'll just not put that there. Get rid of that for a while. And then just, there's the x-axis. Here's the y-axis. Well, I mean, this is a little bit, artwork, right? And so some people are better at drawing than others. But anyway, I thought it was not that bad. Y equals tan 4x. Okay, so notice it's the same graph, but it got shrunk, it got compressed. So the difference between negative pi over 8 and pi over 8 is the period pi over 4.